Hello, in this video I want to talk about an email I received from Jennifer Rosenbaum's sister. If you're going to try to analyse people and court cases, you might want to at least have your facts straight to look credible. So here you can see the first email I received from Lauren Banks, Jennifer's sister, and I thought it was interesting the way that she's phrased this because it sounds like I have been distorting the truth in my videos. That's certainly how she's telling me she sees it. And the information in my videos has either come directly from people's testimonials in court, in which case I've said who said what, or they've come from what Kimberly Frey has said to me and has been happy for me to share. So there hasn't actually been any of my opinion about the facts in these videos. I've given my opinion about why I think Jennifer has behaved in the ways that she has, but I haven't actually come up with my own opinion on what the different facts might be. So why would she see this information as being distorted? So I'll show you a clip of when Lauren Banks was testifying in court.
Did you come and see Millie after her birthday?
I did.
And were you where was this that you came to?
I came to Jennifer's house.
And what did you find at Jennifer's house? How were the girls there?
They were fine. I mean, I was only there for about 20 minutes. It was to drop off the birthday present and leave, so it wasn't an extenuous amount of time. But the girls were acting like my two girls. They
Were they running around? Were they using their legs and arms?
They were.
And did they seem comfortable in the house or not?
They seemed very comfortable.
Lauren described in court how she'd seen Millie and Layla fall off a ladder when she was at Jennifer's house, and here she describes the bruising on Millie.
It was like from here to here.
Okay, and what did it look like?
It was red, and it definitely looked like it was going to form a bruise.
Was there any injury to her buttocks?
No.
Was there any injury to her arm that happened that day?
Not that day, but she did have a bruise on her arm that day.
She didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
And what arm was that? Do you remember which arm?
I don't. I don't understand. Like,
The injury was on the hip. There was nothing on the buttocks or the back.
no, not the back, no, ma'am.
I'll show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 80.
She's now being shown a photo of Millie's bruises. Notice how she doesn't react.
It didn't look like that, no, ma'am.
And you said Millie fell from the 4th step,
It was about the 4th or 5th step up, yes, ma'am.
and there was no reason on that day to take her to the hospital.
No, ma'am.
And then you said Layla fell on her bottom,
Yes, ma'am.
and Layla had a diaper on,
Yes, ma'am.
so she had a little cushion there. You can assume so.
Yes, ma'am.
And other than that, Layla didn't have any other injuries to her
No, ma'am.
from the ladder?
No, ma'am.
And I wondered what happened after what we saw when she went home. You know, did she start to question some of what she had been convinced about? And what happened when she saw the worst of the images of baby Layla? You know, when she saw that her body was absolutely covered in bruises, when she saw all the evidence that the jury saw that convinced all of them, did she then begin to question herself a bit more? And from what I understood, she wasn't in court when those photos were shown. I've been told that by somebody who was in court, who has checked with various other people, and apparently they're all convinced that she wasn't in court. So when I replied to her email, I told her that I felt that she must be in a very difficult position, and that she hadn't actually seen some of the evidence. I understand you weren't in the courtroom to see the photos of Layla and the most damning evidence, so if you're responding to the latest video, it must be hard to hear. If you'd like me to share your views of what the facts are surrounding your sister, I can do that in a video. I'd give my own opinions too on why we might have different takes on the situation, and I think viewers would find it interesting. I'm letting you know because I'm sure it's extremely difficult for you to be in the position that you're in, so want to prepare you that I would need to respond to what you say. But if you would like to tell me what facts you think I've got wrong, I can share your message. I also gave her the opportunity to give her point of view, in case she wanted me to tell other people what she was telling me. But I made it clear to her that I would give my opinion, that this wasn't sort of just a platform for her to, to protect her sister and to stand up for her and tell us that her sister hadn't abused the children, So, I made it clear that I would be responding to whatever she said. And here's what she said in reply to me. Again, you're incorrect. I was in the courtroom every day, even for jury selection. I have no messages that need to be relayed. I know the truth. I have only seen one video, and a lot of the information was inaccurate. It's laughable people actually think you're credible. Where do you get your information? I have the full DFCS reports and autopsy if you're ever in GA and care to base your opinions on actual facts and not speculation. She will have seen these photos in the post-mortem whether she was in court or not. She will have seen the state of Layla's injuries. And despite that, she's clearly still standing by her sister. She says, I know the truth, which suggests that we don't, that the truth is something that we don't understand. And, and that suggests to me that she thinks Jennifer is innocent. And so when she's faced with this picture and all of these injuries, and when she's heard, if she really was in court as much as she said that she was, then presumably she will have heard all of the evidence against Jennifer. If we're to believe what she says, and she would have heard quite a lot of that evidence, and how those injuries could have come about from the doctors who were expert witnesses at the trial, and yet she's still convinced that her sister's innocent. So what would it take to believe that? Why does she believe that? Why is she so sure? And I've talked about this a bit in previous videos about how somebody who is an enabler cannot see, it doesn't matter how much evidence you put in front of them. And that's not even talking about in a court of law. When you say evidence in that context, it just means an enabler in everyday life. If you try to explain to them how what they're saying about the abuser is simply not possible, they cannot look rationally at any evidence you give them. But now here with this trial, you have real life evidence presented in court that this enabler, as I'm calling her, Lauren, cannot accept. And it doesn't matter if expert witnesses are standing there explaining to the court that this was abuse. There were at least 2 doctors that said that, and then there were nurses. There were numerous medical professionals giving their opinion about the different injuries, this enabler is not able to take those on board. I think as a rule, the more somebody cannot accept any evidence at all and has to hold on to their belief about someone, the more their identity is tied up with that person and the connection they have with them. And so how she sees herself will be tied up with how Jennifer sees her and their relationship. And so that's why she's not able to let go of how she sees her. And also she's not able to stop helping her. I mean, she's her flying monkey at the moment. She's out there watching YouTube videos about the case and has to write and sort of have a go at the person making the videos at a time when she might be otherwise feeling really ashamed that her sister has murdered a toddler and is now in jail for, I think, 80 years. How would that feel? It would, would be pretty horrendous really for anyone. And how that would reflect on you. What would people say? What would they think of you? There's a lot of shame related to that might be too much to bear. Instead, she's lashing out at somebody who in this case me, who's talking about the case, and she's saying that I've got it all wrong. It's hard to know how much of this is conscious and how much is unconscious, but with a lot of enablers, it's completely unconscious. They're genuinely convinced that the person is how they want to see them. And, and for flying monkeys, it can go one way or another. I mean, they can be aware that this person is not how they want other people to view them. They can know the truth. And the narcissist can even have told them the truth about what they've done. So in terms of the discrepancy about whether or not she was in court, is she being entirely honest? It could be that she's not, and that she is aware of the truth, and that she's standing up for Jennifer when she knows what she's done. Or it could be that actually she really doesn't know. She really cannot see the same conclusions that everybody else can see because she needs to hold on to this belief about Jennifer. It may be that she's aware of some of the abuse, but not all of it. She might know that her sister is not the saint that she's been trying to come across as, but also believe that she didn't actually kill Layla, that maybe some of the injuries or the more serious injuries were all accidental. It's hard to know. But what we do know is that she is a flying monkey for Jennifer, that she's out there fighting what she sees as Jennifer's cause, and showing contempt as well, while she does it. That in the emails to me, she's shown clear contempt. I just want to add in here that the contempt she showed in her emails to me, that was her projecting shame onto me. Her emails were telling me, you should be ashamed of yourself. If somebody is very narcissistic themselves or is a narcissist, then their beliefs about the abuser, that their beliefs don't really matter. That what's important to them is what other people think, because that's the same when it comes to their beliefs about themselves. They will hide from their own self-loathing, and they'll be looking to get external validation. So in the same way, as long as people agree with their point of view about the abuser, it's okay. Or if they feel belittled or intimidated when they try to say otherwise, then that's also okay. As long as the view that this person, in this case Jennifer, is in the right, as long as that is the most powerful one, everything's okay, and they can go on believing it, and they can feel good about themselves for placing this person on a pedestal. And thinking well of them. It won't reflect badly on them in their mind, as long as everybody is either in agreement or afraid to say otherwise. And so, you know, and we don't know the truth. I don't know enough about Lauren. I know pretty almost nothing about her. So it's hard to know whether she is really narcissistic herself and whether all of this is conscious, or whether she's genuinely unaware of the kind of person her sister is and blinded to reality because of her need to believe that her sister is a good person. So I'm going to leave it here. In the next video, I'm going to look at weapons of a narcissist. So it's the third in that series of looking at different traits of narcissists to look out for and understand a bit more about. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.